Blue alien blood spattered the walls as the reptilian princess collapsed, her body ripped open by her own kind, then abandoned to die alone and in agony. In a dimly lit Zibion dive bar on the fringes of explored space, the lizard-like Arcturian Belos slammed back a glowing drink. His insectoid pal Xyloth clicked his mandibles impatiently. "Did I ever tell you about the time a human saved my sister Arya's life when our own species betrayed her?" Belos hissed. Xyloth's compound eyes widened. "No, but this sounds like a hell of a story." Belos's forked tongue flicked out, tasting the recycled air. About 20 solar cycles ago, Princess Arya attended school on Earth to prove Arcturians could coexist with humans, but Arcturian separatists, a bunch of xenophobic pricks, snuck into the Galactic Academy one night. Belos clenched his scaly fist. They goddamn gutted her like a fish and dumped her half-dead body in the woods, damaged her emergency life support suit too. Thought Arya would die a martyr for their cause, to keep Arcturians from ever mingling with humans. Xyloth's antennae quivered with horror. What the hell happened then? Did the princess make it? She was barely clinging to life, alone and bleeding out. Belos ground his teeth, rage still smoldering after 2 decades. Arya would have died if a human student named James Burns hadn't stumbled across her ravaged body in those woods. And if he didn't care for Arya, didn't protect her while half our species bayed for blood and the rest of the galaxy watched, humanity's only shot at a powerful new ally would have ended that night. Xyloth's antennae twitched with anticipation. How so? What did James do next? Belos leaned back, his reptilian eyes glinting in the bar's dim light. Well, you see, the separatists weren't about to let this go. They spread lies, claiming Arya had staged the attack to gain sympathy for the pro-human faction. They even accused James of being part of the conspiracy. "No way," Xyloth exclaimed. "After all he did to save her." "Exactly," Belos nodded. But James didn't back down. He stood by Arya's side even as the separatists threatened him and tried to smear his reputation. He used his skills to gather evidence, hacking into security systems and analyzing the data to prove the separatists' guilt. Xyloth shook his head in disbelief. That must have taken some serious guts. He was just a student going up against a powerful political faction. "That's the thing about humans," Belos said, a hint of admiration in his voice. "When they believe in something, they don't give up easily." James worked tirelessly, collaborating with Arya's supporters to build a case against the separatists. He even testified before the Galactic Council, presenting the evidence he'd gathered. "And it worked?" Xyloth asked, leaning forward. "It did," Belos confirmed. "The Council couldn't ignore the proof James had amassed. They condemned the separatists' actions and recognized the importance of human Arcturian cooperation. It was a turning point in our relations." Xyloth sat back, his mandibles clicking thoughtfully. "I had no idea one human could make such a difference. It's impressive." Belos nodded, a smile playing on his scaly lips. James didn't just save Arya's life that night. He showed the galaxy what humans are capable of when they put their minds to something. His actions paved the way for greater understanding and collaboration between our species. "And what happened to James and Arya after that?" Xyloth asked. His curiosity piqued. They had discreetly alerted the authorities about the separatists' escape plans. James hacked into the spaceport's security systems and tracked their movements. At the same time, Arya used her diplomatic connections to ensure that no ships were allowed to leave without thorough checks, Belos explained. Xyloth's mandibles clicked with excitement. "So they cornered the separatists?" Belos nodded, a triumphant grin on his face. "Exactly. When the separatists tried to board their getaway vessel, they found themselves surrounded by a joint force of human and Arcturian law enforcement. James and Arya had tipped them off, providing irrefutable evidence of the separatists' involvement in the attack and the bomb plot." Xyloth shook his head in amazement. "I bet those xenophobic pricks never saw it coming. They thought they could tear our species apart, but James and Arya proved them wrong." Belos's eyes gleamed with pride. "Indeed they did. The separatists were arrested on the spot and their network was subsequently dismantled. It was a major victory for those who believed in the power of cooperation and understanding between our kinds. Xyloth raised his glass, a gesture of respect. To James and Arya, the unlikely heroes who showed us that together we are stronger. Belos clinked his glass against Xyloth's, and to the unbreakable bond they forged between humans and Arcturians. Their story spread like wildfire, inspiring countless others to follow in their footsteps. Xyloth whistles, his compound eyes wide with amazement. James really thought of everything, didn't he? Installing tracking devices on the bombs, that's genius. Belos nods, pride evident in his reptilian features. He's always been resourceful, that one. And with Arya's security detail and Earth's law enforcement backing them up, the Separatists didn't stand a chance. I can just picture it, Xyloth says, his mandibles clicking with excitement. The look on their faces when they realized they'd been outmaneuvered by a human and an Arcturian princess. Belos' expression darkens slightly. They didn't go down easily, though. When they saw the joint task force waiting for them, they panicked, grabbed a few innocent bystanders, and threatened to kill them if they weren't allowed to escape. Xyloth's antennae twitch with concern. A desperate move. How did James and Arya handle it? Their smile tugs at the corners of Belos's mouth. James, ever the inventor, had a trick up his sleeve. He'd been working on a prototype stun device, something that could incapacitate a target without causing permanent harm. And he just happened to have it with him, Xyloth asks, incredulous. Belos chuckles. That's James for you, always prepared. He managed to get a clear shot at the Separatists, and with a quick zap, they were down for the count. Didn't even know what hit them. Xyloth shakes his head in admiration. Impressive. But I bet the situation was still tense, even with the Separatists disarmed. That's where Arya stepped in, Belos explains, his voice filled with respect. She's always been a skilled diplomat. She approached the Separatists, who were just coming to, and offered them a deal. Surrender peacefully, and they'd be guaranteed a fair trial. Xyloth's mandibles twitch thoughtfully. A bold move, considering what they'd done to her. Belos nods. Arya's always been about justice, not revenge, and it worked. The Separatists, realizing they were well and truly beaten, laid down their weapons and allowed themselves to be taken into custody. Belos lowers his eyes, the weight of the story heavy on his shoulders. James's sacrifice was a testament to his unwavering commitment to peace and friendship between our species. When that Separatist took aim at Arya, James didn't hesitate. He threw himself in front of her, taking the full force of the blast. Xyloth's mandibles quiver with empathy. A true hero, putting others before himself. I can't imagine the pain he must have endured. Belos nods solemnly. The doctors did everything they could, but the damage was extensive. James lost all sensation and movement below his waist. It was a devastating blow, not just to him, but to Arya as well. She must have felt so guilty, Xyloth murmurs, his compound eyes glistening with emotion. Guilty and responsible, Belos confirms. Arya was beside herself with grief. She spent every waking moment at James's bedside, helping with his rehabilitation and therapy. She even brought in specialists from Arcturia to work alongside Earth's doctors. Xyloth clicks his mandibles thoughtfully. A united front even in the face of such adversity. Belos manages a small smile. James refused to let his injury define him. As soon as he was able, he threw himself into his work with a passion I've rarely seen. He designed prosthetics and mobility devices that were light years ahead of anything else on the market. Turning his own pain into a force for good, Xyloth muses, admiration evident in his tone. Exactly, Belos agrees. James became a beacon of hope for people across the galaxy facing similar challenges. His inventions gave them a new lease on life, and his story inspired them to never give up. Xyloth raises his glass once more. To James and Arya, two souls who faced unimaginable hardship, yet still found the strength to make the universe a better place. Belos lifts his own glass, the glowing liquid casting an eerie light on his scaly features. Their story is one of sacrifice, resilience, and the unbreakable bonds of friendship. It reminds us that even in our darkest moments, there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow. As the two friends clink their glasses together, the weight of James and Arya's legacy hangs in the air, a testament to the power of unity in the face of adversity. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.